Imagine this. You make one mistake, embarrass yourself, fail an exam, say the wrong thing, and instead of living with it, not rewind, not undo, restart. The entire reality reloads, but only for you.
You live in an ordinary apartment in an ordinary city. You drink the same medium iced coffee every morning. You take the same route to the subway, say the same hello to the same neighbor. Like everyone else, you're trying to get life right. Today, you have a job interview. You're prepared, nervous, hopeful. And then, in the middle of the call, you say the thing nobody should say. A long, awkward silence hangs over your screen. You laugh to cover it up, and suddenly everything feels small and thin and wrong. You blink, mutter under your breath, and say what a lot of us say in private. I wish I could just restart this whole day. Then the air changes. The hum under everything deepens. Time pauses like a player hitting pause on a video. Colors hesitate, like someone loading a file. A soft click happens somewhere inside your head. You open your eyes to the same sunlight, the same alarm on your phone, 6 a.m., same apartment, same coffee on the counter, but you don't feel like you're waking from sleep. You feel like you're carrying a memory no one else has. You go to the interview like it's the first time, but you already know every inch of the path. The elevator hesitates the same way. The woman 2 cubicles over taps her pen 3 times before talking. The recruiter clears his throat in the exact same rhythm. You stumble through a line and your chest tightens. You whisper, almost out of habit, "Restart." There's the click. You're back in bed at 6 a.m. again. At first you think you dreamed it. Until the email pops up again and you remember the exact wording. You test it the only way you can. Small things at first. Which coffee to order? Which elevator to ride? How to answer a question without sounding nervous. Each time, when it doesn't go right, you say the word and the world resets to the same morning. Each time, you keep the memory. It doesn't take long for you to learn patterns. The jogger on the corner always trips over the same crack. The blue truck always brakes suddenly at the light. The cashier always forgets to ring the second item. With every restart you adjust. You become sharper, more precise, almost preternaturally smooth. You find the exact words that make the hiring manager smile. You leave feeling like you have cheated time itself. Life, for a while, becomes a sandbox. You treat the world like a rehearsal stage. Miss a line on a date? Restart. Say something mean in anger? Restart. Want to try a joke 5 ways until one lands perfectly? Restart. You learn to manipulate outcomes with the same patient repetition a player uses to beat a difficult level.
No humiliation lasts. No consequence sticks. Mistakes become practice. And the freedom is intoxicating.
You feel invincible in small ways, reckless in others. You test moral boundaries because there is always the safety of a button. You push someone's patience to see how they react, then erase it. You cheat on a tiny thing and rewind it back out of existence. You whisper restart more often, watching the world fold and unfold like a deck of cards being dealt again. But the world resists being edited like that. Tiny things begin to slip. A billboard that advertised coffee yesterday now shows a different brand. A streetlight that curved around a corner is suddenly 1 block over. The neighbor's orange cat is suddenly gray. These are small mismatches at first, odd enough to make you frown and then forget. Then they pile up. Once, looking in the mirror, you see your reflection blink a fraction of a second after you do. Not a delay in the glass, but a delay that hits the edges of perception, the way a badly synced video lags behind its audio. You flinch and the reflection catches up. You tell yourself it's stress. You tell yourself anything. With practice, the restarts get quicker, and you grow bolder. You provoke people on purpose to see reactions, then smooth over the pain with a restart. You ask someone out on a bus, and when they turn away, you rewind and try again until they smile. You start gambling with people's feelings because their reactions are temporary and your curiosity is real. And every time you press that invisible button, the world keeps a faint record. Little misalignments accumulate like dust on an old hard drive. People begin to act slightly off. A coworker repeats the same joke 2 days in a row when that never happened before. A barista hands you your drink before you finish ordering. Your mother, on the phone, calls you by a nickname you don't remember her ever using. These anomalies are easy to dismiss alone, until they aren't. As the restarts multiply, the patterns deepen. Weather repeats in unnatural loops. A dog on the corner barks at precisely the same second in 3 separate restarts. Traffic flows like a predefined choreography. Even laughter in a room hits the same cadence every time. The more you rewind, the more the world seems to memorize you and also misread you. You try to stop. For a day, you vow not to say the word. But the temptation, the lure of fixing small failures, is magnetic. You press it once more to erase an awkward silence, then again to perfect a moment you wish had gone differently. Each time, the glitches creep farther. Buildings edge into slightly wrong angles. The horizon shudders like a corrupted file trying to render. Eventually you realize something worse. Each restart doesn't return you to the exact same universe. It snaps you into a nearby copy, a version of reality that resembles the last but isn't identical. You begin mapping differences on paper like a cartographer, noting coastline changes, a mailbox missing, a tattoo on a stranger that wasn't there yesterday, a word someone used that they had never used before. These aren't random errors, they're shifts between slightly different backups of existence. And backups can be exhausted. You start to think about scale. If one person can bend reality by restarting, what happens when others discover the same trick? What happens when dozens, hundreds, thousands of people start treating life like a rehearsal? You don't have to imagine long. In your head, it already looks like a society where honesty is speculative and spontaneity is curated. Politicians retake speeches until every word lands. Relationships are tested in loops until only the rehearsed version remains. Authenticity becomes a memory nobody can trust. Alone, on a night when the city lights stutter like a cheap screensaver, you face the weight of what you've been doing. The skyline flickers with static. People freeze mid-step, then wobble like a bad animation before finishing the motion. The air tastes faintly of ozone, like the metallic aftertaste of electricity. You draw a line on a whiteboard and write 2 words: restart equals universe drift. You understand now that your button isn't a personal eraser. It's a consumer-level world editor that takes a toll. Each press nudges you into a neighboring copy, and those copies are finite and imperfect. The fabric of continuity is fraying under your thumb. On the edge of tolerance, reality starts to refuse repairs. Cracks widen into visible seams. Once familiar streets rearrange as if an unseen hand is shuffling a map. Faces you love arrive with the wrong expressions. Memories you carry increasingly sound like borrowed audio from a different recording. You find yourself the only person who remembers what came before. Everyone else moves forward in the new copy, unburdened and unknowingly altered. One evening, surrounded by the small physical evidence of a universe gone wrong, a lamp that flickers in a pattern that repeats, a song stuck on the same bar, you reach a decision point. You know with a cold clarity that there may be a limit to how many copies are left, that each restart consumes a portion of the tape, that the next press could be the one that ejects the cartridge for good. You hold your thumb in the air, feeling the phantom button you no longer need to say aloud. You think of all the times the button saved you from embarrassment, from a breaking heart, from a mistake that felt like it might shatter you. You think of the fragility you've traded for control. You think of the billboards, the cats that change color, the mother who uses a nickname that never existed in your world before. You think of the kid who once muttered, "You shouldn't keep pressing it," and disappeared before you could ask why. You breathe, slow as if counting the last beats of a song. You can press the button and try one final time to set things right, or you can leave the world to limp forward in its damaged state and let the story continue with all its mess and surprise and irrevocable truth. If you had the power to restart reality, would you press it? Would you trade the messy, dangerous gift of living for the sterile safety of endless perfect takes? Or would you let this flawed, imperfect world stand as it is, strange, unpredictable, and real?
One tap, like. One share, thanks. One button, subscribe. Join the fam.